Why is your tablet up? I don't know either. It's weird. I just popped open. Okay. All right, so we were here yesterday. So let's get here. Let's turn our calculators on. And so when you just turn it on, okay, we get here, right? So we're not going to need to graph right now, so I wouldn't worry about a new, we only do one, we just can do one new document. So we just want to add a calculator. And you don't necessarily need to save anything, and we're here, okay? Add calculator. So if you look at what we have, so does everybody have a document that we can type in on here? All right, so we were here. Let's see, let's do one more. First of all, the G of 3, what is G of 3? Negative 12, okay? So instead of G of 3 in the calculator, we're going to put negative 12. So we're going to start with negative 12 plus. The negative is right there below the 3. Okay, negative 12 plus. We got it? Then we're going to do the integral. Okay, so we do menu, and we're doing calculus, so we choose what? 4, and we want to do a numeric integral, which is 2, and it pops this nice little thing up. Okay, so on here, and it's not super easy for me to do a split screen from up here, so we're going from 3 to 8, so we want to put a 3 here. You can arrow up, up, and put an 8 there. Okay. And then right here, what we have written, what we actually have written is G prime of X, but that's not what we're typing in. We're typing in this right here. Okay. So we're going to type in, just got to look at my paper, 1.3, right? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong page. No, this is it. 1.3 times the natural log. Okay, so natural log, because I know we haven't used these a whole bunch. They're right, it's right here in blue, so we're going to have to do Control E to the X to get the natural log. And it opens the parentheses for you. Now, I would prefer to put it in a fraction and not have to worry about parentheses and using division. So right here above the division key, remember there's like a fraction key. So if I do Control Divide, it pops up a fraction, and I can type it in like it looks. And then we have x squared plus 3x plus 7. And then I'll arrow down to get in the denominator, x plus 1. Okay, so we're integrating something with x, so then we have to put in here what our variable is, and that is x. So we have the dx there. And then double check that you've typed everything in the correct way, and then bam, it gives you the answer. 1.689. Are we good? What questions have we got? All right, so let's set up the next one. Everybody, the calculator's fine, right? Speak up if that's not the case. Okay, get off your phone. Thank you. All right, so as we go through this, we know we want to find G of 0. They give us G of 3. They give us G prime of X. So we know we have to use what we're given, which are given or already know, like we did above there. Like we could use G of 8 if we wanted to, but here that would be more difficult because we'd have to store the number, right? So we'll just go with G of 3. So the way I think about this is I got G of 3. Then what I want to think about, am I adding or subtracting? Then I'm going to look at, I've got 0 and 3, and I want to go least to greatest, so I'm going to go from 0 to 3. If this number is down at the bottom, I'm adding. If this number's at the top, I'm subtracting. Does that make sense? Because one way or the other, right? And then I'm subtracting G prime of X dx. right, so then we want to type this into our calculator, and again, this is -12. So really, I'm changing a couple of things, but we're going to retype the whole thing because I think we just kind of need some practice with these calculators. So I've got, this time it's -12 minus, then how do I do an integral? Menu, I'm doing calculus, and I want to do an integral, right? Then this time I'm going from 0 to 3. (1.3) times natural log. I want a fraction, x squared plus 3x plus 7 over x plus 1. We're doing okay? Anybody having any issues? I didn't do x squared. I sure didn't do x squared. And it's easier on the board for me to fix this. What? I just did x2. That's dumb. X. Oh, no. Okay, well, guess I'm redoing the whole thing now. Ah, Lord, have mercy. Okay. Oh, what is happening? Well, they went through everything. Okay. -12. Let me just do this again. Minus. Oof. I don't want control. How do I undo control? Oh my gosh. Go back. Escape, escape. Okay. Menu. Calculus. Numerical integral. 0 to 3. 1.3 times natural log fraction x squared plus 3x plus 7 over x plus 1. X. Now it's correct, right? -18. Okay. 0.857. -18.857. All right. Any questions about that? We good? Yes? All right. Let's turn the page here. Okay, so since I have a couple of problems that I'm going to have to do, and I have to find some areas, I think I want to go ahead and kind of put my areas in here so I don't have to think about them when I get there. So let's see. This area here is going to be 2 times 2 and then half of that, so that's 2. You can do this as one big triangle, or it is kind of easier to think of them as right triangles because, again, I have 2 times 2, which is, and half of it's 2. Then I have 3 times 2 divided by 2, that part's 3. So if I need that whole triangle, it's 5. Radius here is 2, so the whole thing is 4 pi, which means this half is 2 pi, which means this is pi and this is pi. And then I have this, 2 times 2 and half of it. And then I have this here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 is 8. Then we can worry about the important stuff, right? Okay. So tell me, how is the capital G of x and the lowercase g of x, are they the same thing? No. How are they related? Good. So if because remember, if we have g, we take the derivative, then we get g, then we would get g prime, then we would get g double prime, right? So whether it's capital or lowercase, it matters. All right, so the function g of x is continuous on the interval from -5 to 12. G of x is the derivative of g, it even tells you that. Given above and consists of 4 line segments and a semicircle. All right, so we want to remind ourselves that this is g of x and not capital G of x. I mean, it says it right here, but, and we know g of 2 is equal to 7, and we want to find the following, g of 12. So g of 2 is the only thing we know. So we know we're going to have to start with g of 2, right? And then then I have to use an integral. What are the limits of integration here? What would be down here? 2. And this would be 12. And since 2 is on the bottom, is this addition or subtraction? Addition, right? We go with that? Because that means we're going left to right and not like right to left. And so that is the integral of g prime, not g prime, oh my goodness, g of x dx. I shouldn't have rolled there. What is g of 2? 7. And I'm going to add to that from 2 to 12. Okay, so let's just do that at a little piece at a time. From 2 to 6, what would I have? Close. Negative 2 pi, right? Because it's underneath the axis. From 6 to 8, I have plus 2. And then from 8 to 12, I have minus 8. Very good. That's basically 9 minus 8, which is 1 minus 2 pi. Right, okay with that? Questions? Jeremiah asked me a question. Excuse me. Thank you. Ask me a question. Okay, so we are doing, so remember, if I integrate this, sorry, I'm not sneezing. Let me not speaking, let me just move this. I have, it's from the fundamental theorem here. I'm going from A to B. It's f of B minus f of A, right? And so we were looking for the bigger number. It's equal to, and all we had was this one that we had to work with. So here's our A and our B. So when we look at this, right, we're using this. This is our A and our B. And so that gives me the limits of integration from these two numbers. I have to use this one because it's the only one I have. Does that make, that's how I knew to use the 2. I knew to use the 2 because that's the information that I have. I knew to use the 12 because that's what they're asking me for. Okay? And the fundamental theorem says if I integrate from 2 to 12 of the derivative, that's equal to the actual function g of 12 minus g of 2. And we basically just solved to move that over. Does that help? That's how you decide what these are. That's why when we move to this one, I have g of negative 5, right? So that's equal to, now I could use g of 12 like we did on that one yesterday, like you could have started from different places, but we'll use g of 2 because that's what they gave us. So then I know my limits of integration, and I want to go least to greatest, right? So the least one is negative 5 to 2. That's how I know what those numbers are. To remember which way to do this part here, so you don't have to overthink it, whatever number this is, like since this was down at the bottom, means we're going from left to right, so I think of it as like positive. Since it's up here at the top, and then it's going the other way, so there's the minus there. Does that help? We're good on that? Okay. So then that's g of x dx. So we know g of 2 is 7, right? Minus, so going from negative 5 to 2, that's this right here. That means we're going to subtract this whole thing, so we have to be careful, because if we want to think of it in pieces, I'm subtracting all of this. I'm subtracting, then I have a positive 2 minus 5, right? So that gives me 7 minus a negative 3, which is 10. So be careful with the signs there. What questions do you have? We're good? All right. So on the next one then, I want you to set this up. Do you agree with my setup? Do we have any questions about the setup? Okay. Then, if you don't have any questions, then you put that in your calculator and let me know what you get. Couldn't you just plug in the two? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. Oh, yes, you could, I see what you're saying. Yes, instead of writing f prime of x, you could have written this. Absolutely, it's fine. It's just less writing to do this. And this does not mean divided by 8, by the way. I'm just saying this becomes 8. I don't have the decimal either, so I will do that up here. I have it written down, but I didn't do it. I don't know how to clear the screen. I just clear the screen. Anybody know? Can't be that hard. Well, that's what I did, but it's not working, so it must be. That's what I thought. That's what makes sense, right? That's not happening for me. Okay, whatever. It'll probably delete it in just a second. It's behind. All right, so f of 3, that was 8 minus. Is that what y'all got? Negative 6.7001. Oh, 7, wait. Oh, yeah, thank you. 701, not 001. Making sense. You good with that? Questions? All right, set up the next one. And if you agree with the setup, you can go ahead and type it in. Well, yes, but we are just now starting integrals is the thing, though. We won't be done until April. Like, we still got quite a few, thank you, quite a few things to do. So that's why, and so we are going to have some time to review, but we want to start spiraling it in. So that's why we are, this is just unit 6. We got to go to unit 9, I think. 7's really short, though. But we got some more things to do. Okay, that's why I want to start reviewing in Mav time. So that, and doing it all at once at the end is not enough anyway, but we got quite a bit. This is okay. So let me get this time. Well, actually, y'all just tell me. Let's see if we all agree. What did you get? 847? Do we all agree on that? If we all agree, then I'm not going to take the time to type it in for you. I trust you. I should have written them down, but I didn't. I just had them set up. The next is the homework. Yes, so we're done. So what I want you to, I just wanted to make sure we did some of the calculator stuff and then reviewed some of the stuff that's not calculator. So I want you to work on that assignment. You should hopefully be able to get it done. And I have the key done.